So the traveler sees what he sees. When you're traveling someplace, what do you see? Yeah.
When you're like a traveler, like that's the thing you like to do. You just go to see things that not everybody would go to see. And like a tourist goes to like obviously like the most touristy spots. Like a tourist, like if someone was like in New York, like obviously they're a tourist, they would go see like the Statue of Liberty or like stuff like that.
The tourist goes sees like what he has heard about, or like what he lives, what this influence him about.
And has anybody been to New York? Okay. So when you go to New York and you go to see the Statue of Liberty, what else did you see? The people. Did you go to Times Square?
Mm-hmm.
Did you go to the methadone clinics?
No.
No? Oh. Of course, why would you say, hey, I'm going to go on vacation, let's go check out the methadone clinics. I want to see the heroin addicts. We don't do stuff like that. We go there like it's a zoo. Oh my goodness. Throw them a needle and see what happens. It's not kind. I agree. I'm not saying you should do it. Yes?
I think that, like, the quote means that tourists, like, look for things, and our people who look for answers and really appreciate life and, like, take everything in. As to travelers, like, they just take things for granted and just live life as everyone else. Other than, like, really taking everything in, like, even the little things, like having your family around, or just even still being alive, like appreciating life for every little thing.
And what else do you see besides those little positive things? If you're a traveler.
See the bad things too.
The bad things too. You see the good, you see the bad. This was the point of me asking when you go to New York to see Times Square, Statue of Liberty. You see the really positive things about those cities, and that's what you see. And so then people go there and they'll say, oh my goodness, I love New York. It's so full of energy and the lights and the people and everything, because we only saw what we went to see. Now, this isn't a criticism. Nobody, I mean, again, you really shouldn't go on tour there just to see the methadone clinics. But we should be aware that when we're going someplace, we're seeing exactly what we came to saw. Sorry, we see exactly what we came to see. English is hard, as I was saying. We see exactly what we came to see. We don't see the things that we're not looking for oftentimes. And so this is why it is that so many people love visiting New York, and then so many people who live in New York say, I hate New York, I need to get out of here. Have any of you guys watched that show Ozark, by any chance? Yeah. I look at something like that and I think, wow, that'd be a cool place to like hang out for a little while. But imagine you kind of get there and then you sit around and you go, well, this sucks. After you've been there for more than, I don't know, 10 hours, 12 hours. Because it really is just nothing except for mosquitoes and heat on the water. And one of the things that the show, I don't want to say misrepresents because it doesn't mean to, but it uses like a blue tint filter on all the scenes. So it looks like it's cool there, in terms of temperature. But it's frequently like 100% humidity and it's like 100 degrees and it's really hot, there's mosquitoes, there's bugs, it's uncomfortable. But when you're watching the show, everyone's dressed like normal. Like we would dress kind of like, I shouldn't say normal, kind of like we would dress in San Diego in fall. You would never wear something like what we're wearing in here on the Ozarks in July. But when you see the show, it's like, oh, I could hang out there. Yeah, there's another show, I think it's called Longmire. I saw a few episodes of it, and it's about a sheriff in a town in Wyoming. Wyoming, the whole state, has fewer people in it, in the whole state, than just the city of San Diego has. It's a really sparsely populated. It's just all plains and mountains and nature and all that. And I watched that and thought, man, I could go live there. And my friend was like, yeah, but you wouldn't see anybody for months. I'm like, okay. Oh. Thank you. For months. Yeah. Oh, okay, great. They said you'd only have to go to you'd have to go shopping like once a month and stockpile everything. You'd have almost no human interaction. I'm not sure whether that is supposed to sound bad to someone like me, But imagine if I was there, I would hang out for a little bit and just think, well, this sucks. Was it you guys I was asking? a couple of months ago. I'm going to screw this up, aren't I? Madagascar, is it? The Pixar film? I was asking one of my classes about that. Maybe you've seen it. It's about the penguins, right? Yeah, and if you guys remember this scene, it's a hilarious scene. I actually have it saved on my phone because it's so funny. These penguins, they're in a zoo, and they're always talking about how wonderful it's going to be when they can get out of the zoo and go back to the Arctic. And they're just going on and on about how wonderful it is. There's one guy who's encouraging everybody, this is our homeland, this is where we belong, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, it's going to be great. So they end up hijacking a ship. And then they end up getting there. And there's this great scene, it shows them from like a distance. And you just hear all the wind, snowing. You see the ship smash into the ice in the background, and they're just standing there, and the scene's like 30 seconds or so, which is a long time for a movie. And then finally one of them says, well, this sucks. Yeah. We have it in our minds that the things that we the things that we want to see are kind of representative. And the truth is that they do become representative of that. In other words, if you've been to New York and you've seen Times Square and you've seen the Statue of Liberty, that's what New York is to us. And so when someone goes to one of those little shops and throws on a t-shirt that says, I heart New York, that's what they're thinking of. The same is true about every situation in which we find ourselves, and people as well. If we just kind of go into situations traveling, open-minded, ready to receive whatever it is that's coming to us, then we're going to see whatever is there, or we're going to see what we see. And that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to see the truth, but we're going to see, hopefully, the truth as best as we can filter it through our senses, because our senses are faulty. We have biases, we have prejudices, and we have to work hard to filter those things out. But let's face it, that's a lot of work, and we don't do it all the time. So, still though, we see what we see. Whether it's true or not, we see what we see. Versus a tourist who sees exactly what they want to see. They see exactly what they want to see. And this is true about places. This is true about situations. This is true about people. If you want to see something in a person, then that's what you're going to find. If you love a person, you're going to overlook all their faults. In fact, you may even reframe their faults as virtues, as positive things. Find a way to do that. Or if you don't like a person, no matter how kind they are to you, we're going to find a way to make it out so that's a negative. Somebody helps them, someone who you don't like helps you. And what do you say? Oh, well, they're just trying to get something out of me. Oh, they're just, they're sorry for what they did, now they're just kissing my ass. And maybe they don't even realize that you don't like them. And maybe they're just being nice to you because that's who they actually are versus who we perceive them as. And sometimes maybe the person, we think a person's a jerk, we just don't like them because they really were the first time or two that we interacted with them. But when you think about yourself, do you want to be represented by the worst of your days? By the worst of your interactions with someone? Think about how mean you've been to some people, or at least unkind. I mean objectively look at it, not, well, no, it's because forget about the becauses. Because the person you're interacting with they're not privileged with the becauses of why you do what you do. The question is just, how did you behave towards them? And do you want to be represented by that? And it's not just that one person, by the way. You behave negatively towards one person, and then that person tells somebody else, and that person tells somebody else, and this is how reputation spread. And really, reputation is just opinions. It's the opinions of people, positive or negative. But most of us want to be represented by our best days, not our worst, and so maybe we should do the same thing with others. Or maybe they really are that bad. Because also maybe you're going to interact with someone on their best days. And that's not really who they are. So maybe it's a good idea to stay traveling with people, be fellow travelers with people, so that we can interact with them and find out who they really are day to day to day to day to day. Because that's how you really find out who a person is. Not from the best of their days, not from the worst of their days. And also not doing a lot of work for them, meaning not interpreting their worst days as some kind of a virtue, not overlooking these kinds of negativities. But also forget about other people. Let's focus primarily on ourselves, first off. Don't see the things that you're looking to see. I'm a good person. Now, let me somehow shift this situation so that I can appear to be a good person. Or let me somehow take this terrible thing I said to a person, and let me reframe it such that now it can be a positive thing. You know? I have a ton to say about it, but I feel like I'm shoving it through because I want to finish before he shows up. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms, critiques?